Elliot, how much of a shot on the arm was that victory at the weekend?
It was good to get off 0, and I suppose it's going to give us confidence going on.
How confident were you through the game that you were starting to take control?
I didn't feel as nervous as the other games. I think that we, when we got that try just before half time and we started building pressure, and then straight after half time we put pressure on and we were dominating their line-outs and set piece, so I felt pretty confident that we're going to go through with the win.
It wasn't a game that someone was going to come home with a wet sail and score a heap of points, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was quite slippery out there. It might not have looked it, but it was the ball was quite slippery, and there was a few handling errors that were hopefully sorted out for Manawatu.
And nice to get across the line. There's always a criticism at tries, but got a couple in the bag now.
Yeah, it is. It's good that Lurchie got one and a couple of the backs as well. So hopefully next week or this week coming up versus Manawatu, we can get a few more tries and maybe get a bonus point as well.
How are you looking forward to a road trip? 3 games in a row. It's a bit of a challenge.
It is. It's going to be tough, but I suppose road trips are always fun. You get to spend time with the boys, get away from home, and it's always good in the team environment. And
there are a couple of winnable games, these, where, with due respect to both sides.
Yeah, exactly. If we can come away with maybe 2 out of 3 wins or 3 out of 3, that would be awesome, and it'll really set us up for hopefully either a semi-final spot or a home semi.
And County's proved that actually a midweek game can almost fine-tune you.
Exactly. They look pretty good against Hawke's Bay, and it's good for them to get the shield up there, but hopefully they can hold on to it to the last game and we can take it off them.
Yes, right, the guys have done the maths. It makes the end of the season exciting no matter what happens elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully it happens like that, and it'd be quite nice to get the shield back.
First things first, got to win and got to try and win a couple of these games big.
Exactly. We've got to get a couple of bonus points. That's probably our Achilles heel last year or the couple of years before that. We don't really score as many tries as we want to or we should, and we need bonus point wins.
Right, talk about your own form. You must be happy with the way your output was at the weekend.
Yeah, not too bad. It's building each week. So hopefully this week coming up, if I get picked, build from there and then hit my strips at the right time of the season.
You haven't had a run at 7 yet. There must be an inevitable at some stage.
Exactly. Well, I suppose short turnarounds. I might be there. Might be there in a couple of weeks' time. I like it, and it should be a bit of fun.
So what's the scrum now like from a loose forward point of view? Do you feel that the pressure's on or off? What's go through your mind?
I think it's more of our work after the ball's in. I think it's a bit more pressure. We've got to push a lot more, and it seems though that the ball's a bit better for me at the back. It's not as messy because we've got time to set an actual stable scrum.
And when it's the opposition put in, do you stay attached longer to give that impetus?
Yeah, we're trying to. We've looked at the game tape, and that's probably a bit of an area we could, as a loose forward trio, could improve on, because we're trying to get away. We're trying to look for that next phase, but I suppose if we can stay on for a little bit longer and help the props out.
And the line-out's working quite well this season too. That's one thing that's a success.
Yeah, we just want to build on that. It's been going pretty good. We've stolen about 5 of the balls last week, so hopefully build this week as well.
And hopefully get off to a fast start in the game and maybe have a buffer earlier.
Exactly, that's what we're trying to do, and we should look for that on Friday.
Well, as we heard at half-time in the Sky interview, all the instructions you were issuing, most of them seem to be followed in the second half.
Yeah, I really believe that our own worst enemies are ourselves. So the error rate was quite high, and we put ourselves under pressure. And I was just talking to Marty now, just giving him some feedback on like his kick and exiting, and he was half a foot away from being a legend, but that's a massive half a foot in terms of putting us under pressure. So if we can adjust and minimise those errors and exit and put the opposition under pressure, I mean, that was a key message at half-time, is our error rate for sure.
I think some of those young guys, Marty being one, they try so hard, maybe a bit too hard sometimes, and push it. Yeah,
I mean, that's the nature of being a young man. You're always living on the edge, I suppose. We've all been there. So, I mean, reining that in and knowing or sensing or feeling the opportunities when they present themselves, when to push the boundaries and when just to be satisfied with getting it out or exiting well. And that comes with a bit of experience. And, I mean, he'll put that in the bank and be better for it.
Yeah, a few of us noticed that Scott Eade looked pretty slick at 9. Is that an option for you?
Yeah, moving down, he's expressed his interest in playing there too. So, I mean, Taylor's injured, so he trained there tonight, and he's got a left foot box. He can kick the ball, and he's got a rugby brain on him. So, I think he's open to the idea too, that if he's versatile, that only helps his game. So, yeah, possibly.
I thought that the weekend was one small step rather than a giant leap for mankind, so you've got to build on it, don't you?
Yeah, and that was the message in the change room afterwards, was how good could we be if we executed and we didn't make so many errors, and the idea that that's a great win on the back of a good defensive effort and enthusiasm at the breakdown, but it won't count for much. You know, we've got to back that up against Manawatu and get the win there too, and you know, we're right back in the mix if we can do that.
3 games in 9 days. How do you change your preparation for the team? Do you ease back a bit at training and use that midweek game as one of those build-ups?
Yeah, I think we just manage the guys, and we're pretty good. We've got a good relationship, and there's a senior player group there that come to the management, if you like. And so we'll get a feel for their bodies and how they're feeling, but the idea is to prepare well this week and then taper off with the travel and listen to the guys, and it could be around just getting the detail right. We don't need to smash and bash at training, just fix up a few things as they present and recover and look after ourselves and head home. We've got Harbour, so it's 3 games in 9 days is a challenge. But the boys they'll front, and as I say, there's a good relationship there, so we'll listen to them, and I'm sure we'll work through it.
And also you managed to convert a couple of chances when you got to the line, made some good decisions close by, and therefore those tries starting to come. Yeah,
and it's about being technically sound, so we're working a lot on the fundamentals, and so if we can carry and be technically sound and get gain line, when we do meet oppositions that are just as physical and just as explosive as us, if we're sound in what we're doing, then those opportunities will present. And I think guys are now starting to understand how and what it looks like and what it feels like in terms of our attack. So, I mean, hopefully we can move forward. We botched a whole lot of chances too. I mean, Waikato did as well, but we had a number of opportunities where we had numbers, but we didn't execute with the final pass, or passes went over the sideline. I mean, that's going to happen with the nature of probably a new attack system that we're running. So, I mean, it bodes well, but we've still got to be hard on ourselves too.
And that extra bit of beef in midfield, that takes a bit of pressure off Cardiff, I feel. It's not all about him now, shares the load.
Yeah, I think Willis added another dimension with his ability to distribute and turn turnovers into attack, and he seems to sum up numbers really well in mismatches. And I think he brought a lot of defensive enthusiasm as well. So it did take a bit of pressure off Cardiff. And I thought equally Brian out on the wing didn't look out of place. He's got a few things to work on. But he seems to break the first tackle regularly, so the idea of him being able to link and look for support, so there's a bit there to work with. So fingers crossed we can put it together sooner rather than later.
Yeah, okay, well, just finally, ultimately this week could determine the outcome of your season. It's certainly good. You put you in a good place if you come back with a bag of points. Yeah,
and that's I guess the onus on us is to back up. That's a good win. I think the 3rd time in 20-something years that we've beaten Waikato. Someone came in with that stat. I'm not sure if it's true or not. So, which is a great one, but we know that we need to go to Manawatu, and that's the first challenge, and we're not looking beyond there. So if we can get the W there and just slowly accumulate and get a bit of momentum, and on our way home back with Harbour, you know, there's another opportunity. So yeah, I mean, we're in control of that, aren't we, in terms of our performances. So the ownership is fairly and squarely on our shoulders.
So Manawatu got the same psyche because they've just had their first win too, and they had to work hard for that.
Yeah, and it was interesting watching that game against Harbour. So, I mean, there's opportunities there for us if we're good enough. You know, we'd like to back ourselves. Yeah.